From laziness to success. One such boy lived with his family in that small village. He was the kind of boy who even finding to move his fingers would not be easy. His mother used to earn for her and for her son working like a servant maid in those town homes. The people then started calling him Lazy James. James' mother was totally irritated as well as worried about her son. Maria felt anxious. Already lines in her face existed due to years of working and fields of toils. However, as the dusk light set upon James' son, it elongated its shadows on her little place of residence, a house not new but having contrast between worn-out interior furniture against the vibrant sunset. More like a miner, James leans against the wall glued to the dust-coated ground from laziness. The psychological struggle of indifference bore into Maria more than anything else could have done on her side. Why are you so lazy, son? I didn't raise you like that. I'm tired from work and you have nothing to do at home. I don't want to work here at home and I don't want to look for a job either. It's lazy. What? You won't find a job? Can't you see me struggling at work, day in day out? I labor from sunrise to sunset. My hand calloused and aching, yet we barely have enough to eat. Yes, I won't work because I'm lazy. Maria's spirit dropped in the ground. This was not what she was looking forward to. She had risen, she had begged, she had even resorted to threats, but all had fallen on James' apathy. The burden of poverty was heavy upon her, but even more that of her son's idleness. What has come over you? Why can't you move a finger? If you do not work more than you do today, all one day you shall have nothing. Because of your idleness, we shall starve, James. We shall have nothing. Whatever, Mom, whatever. James' indifference, however, remained steadfast. He saw no reason to change his ways. He was content in his lethargy, oblivious to the growing desperation in his mother's eye. He couldn't fathom the sacrifices she made daily, the back-breaking labor she endured to keep them afloat. Then fate intervened in the form of a cruel illness. One day, Maria fell violently ill, a high fever racking her body. She was bedridden for 2 days, unable to work, unable even to stand. The meager food supplies dwindled rapidly, and the fear of starvation gnawed at their already fragile existence. It was in the crisis that James' apathy finally cracked. He saw his mother's frail form, her face pale and drawn, her breath shallow and labored. The reality of their situation, the weight of his responsibility crashed down upon him. For the first time, he understood the true meaning of his mother's words, the consequences of his inaction. He promised his mother he would find work and bring home food. He vowed to change his ways, to shed his laziness and embrace responsibility. With a newfound determination, he set out to find employment. His first job was on a local farm. He worked diligently, earning 2 pennies for his labor. Overjoyed, he rushed home, eager to share his earnings with his mother. But in his haste, the pennies slipped from his grasp and rolled away, lost in the dust of the road. He arrived home empty-handed, his heart heavy with regrets. His mother, though disappointed, didn't scold him. Instead, she gently guided him. "Dear James, next time put your earnings in your pocket so they won't fall." Her words were a lesson in carefulness, a reminder of the importance of attention to detail. His next job was with the milkman. He was paid a jar of milk for his work. Remembering his mother's advice, he carefully placed the jar in his pocket, but the weight and the jostling of his movements caused the jar to break, spilling milk all over his clothes. His mother, seeing the mess, patiently explained. "James, you should have carried the milk jar on your head. Don't worry, but be more careful next time." The following day, he worked with cattle, earning a small kitten as payment. But the kitten, playful and energetic, jumped from his hands and ran away. James returned home, his face etched with disappointment. His mother, understanding his distress, taught him, "You should have tied a rope around the kitten to prevent it from escaping." For the next 2 days, he worked on a farm earning a large piece of meat. This time, he tied the meat with a rope and dragged it along the road. But the meat was spoiled and unusable by the time he reached home. His mother thought him exasperated, calmly explained, "You should have carried the meat on your shoulders to preserve it." James' journey wasn't easy. Each failure was a lesson, each mistake a stepping stone towards growth and maturity. He learned the value of hard work, the importance of carefulness, and the significance of responsibility. He began to understand the sacrifices his mother's made, the weight of their poverty, and the depth of her love. He continued to seek work, each experience shaping him, molding him into a more responsible individual. He learned to carry heavy burdens on his shoulders, to protect fragile items, to be mindful of his actions. He learned to value the simple things, the warmth of a home cooked meal, the comfort of a soft bed, and the unwavering love of his mother. One day, while working in a nearby town, he carried a donkey on his shoulders. A young girl, about 8 years old, saw him and burst into laugh. Her laughter, unrestrained and joyful, caught the attention of her father, the wealthiest man in the town. He was so touched by James' actions, by his willingness to carry such a heavy burden, that he offered him a job, shelter, and a small business of his own. The girl, it turned out, hadn't laughed in 5 years. James' journey wasn't just about overcoming laziness, it was about discovering his own potential, his own capacity for hard work and responsibility. He had learned from his mistakes, grown from its failures, and transformed himself into a hardworking, responsible young man. He found happiness not just in material success, but in the satisfaction of a job well done, in the knowledge that he was providing for his mother, and in the gratitude of those he helped along the way. His life, once characterized by laziness and apathy, was now filled with purpose and the unwavering love of his family. The moral of James' story is the transformational effect of hard work, accountability, and learning from one's mistakes. The first phase of his loss causes both him and his mother difficulty and misery. However, finally embracing dedication and being able to learn from his repeated failures opens the doors to a big positive life shift for him. His underlines that man development and triumph go a long way to due to an ethos and enterprise and self-effectuation rather than intrinsic ability. Furthermore, it speaks to the call of mercy and the deep reward one might make possible and apparent modest act of benevolence. The gestures for the charitable giving and give by the millionaire is sparked by the subconscious act of James by diverting his daughter and pointing out how such virtue bears from in a good relations in life.